Okay, we're out here fishing again. Let's see if we can get this guy through the weeds here. He's in a big clump here. Oh, there's our worm. I don't know if we can save it or not. We're at Harrier Lake right now. We're meeting up with the bass boys. Alright, looks like I may have gotten duped because the bass boys are not here. Unless we moved. I don't know that we're going to be able to get in the water here because we're most likely going to sink down in there pretty good to try and get past this weed line here. We might just have to go over the top of it. Let's see what happens if I try to take a step in here. I'm already almost one step and I'm almost at the top of my boots here, so I can get a little bit. I just don't want to sink in here, depending how solid it is. I might be able to. So I got a little bit. And we got the sun hitting us from the left here. So I'm going to try some casts here with the bass pole. We got this chunky worm on here right now. I don't know if I've caught anything with this, but it's kind of a cross in between one of the chunk lures and like a plastic worm. So I'll have to get the info from the bass boys to see if there's been any kind of bite, if they've been fishing out here. I also brought a jigging pole, possibly for some walleye, but I'm not going to be able to get out very far with that. Basically the same technique as a plastic worm. Got a dragonfly out here watching our line. This is kind of weedless, so I might be able to rip it through there. The water feels kind of like bath water right now because it got heated up pretty well. There isn't anyone here, so that could mean that there isn't too much going on here right now. I dropped it right next to that weed patch there. You just gotta kind of hope that there's maybe a bass hanging out off the shoreline here. the sun is going down, and it looks like it may go into some cloud cover as it goes down. This is my only my second time fishing all summer, pretty much. So normally I'm a pretty much a plastic worm guy for bass, but I think this is similar enough to where it should be okay. We got one, boys, while my camera was off. I don't know if that was our worm that just went flying or not. Let's see if we can get this guy through the weeds here. He's in a big clump here. Oh, there's our worm. I don't know if we can save it or not. Now we're in the water right here, so this is going to be a little tricky. Trying to get this guy up. There we go. A real gray one here. Got a nice stomach on him. Might be about a 14 or something like that. Just got that hook just in the top of his mouth and kind of wrapped around there. How that's kind of happens sometimes. Yeah.
I caught one there. I just left and you can't.
Shit.
Too weedy over there.
Yeah. Hey, look at how gray this thing is.
Yeah, one I caught was like dark.
You got one over here before?
Yeah, I just started going that way and then I looked over and saw you there. I was gonna go over there and try that spot. But it was like weeds. Down a little bit further, it's better, but I'm gonna wait till later.
Alright, so we got that one decent bass. I don't have any more of those that worm with the tail on it, so I'm switching over to just a regular plastic worm for right now, unless I can get one of those from Bass Boys. We got Bass Boys over here with us. You can't see them because this still got a lot of weed cover, That fish just kind of swallowed it. It didn't really, I didn't feel it until I started to reel in, and then the weight was there. It just kind of ate it, and it just sat there. It had a pretty full belly, so might not have been as aggressive because it's been eating pretty good. Not like a huge belly or anything, but I mean it had one, so it wasn't skinny, one of those skinny ones. So I'm gonna have to pay a little closer attention here. But it's kind of hard when I was just kind of letting the worm flatline sit on the bottom. There's a lot of times they'll see it and then they'll pick it up. Because I've actually seen them do that. Sometimes they'll grab it on the drop, or when you're finessing it, and sometimes if you leave it on the bottom, they'll just go down and they'll just pick it up because they saw it drop down, and they probably just kind of look it over and decide to swallow it up if it's easy pickings, pretty much. Do you have any of those worms with the tail on them if I wanted to use one? Yeah, because all I have is Yamamoto worms. I didn't bring any of those ones of that stuff that I bought. I figure if I caught a fish on it, I might as well. And I probably need to retie this knot too. Because I haven't used this pole in a while. Yeah, I didn't even feel that fish. I was just kind of letting it sit and then lifting it up. And then I lifted it up and there was weight on there. It's out by this weed patch over here. This little weed patch. Alright, so we're kind of fishing just a couple of steps in the water here off this shoreline. Right now I'm just kind of going really slow, lifting it up, giving it a little twitch and lifting it up and then letting it drop, kind of seeing if something will pick it up. Because that's what that other one did, without me even knowing about it somehow. Sneaky fish. That sun got into the clouds, so it's going to be nice. It's going to give us a little cloud cover. Kind of a difficult angle from here, though. What? Oh yeah. All right, I'm trying to cast out a little bit further over here. I'm trying to rip it out there. Yeah, this is another area here along the shoreline. But we've got a lot of, got a pretty long weed line so we can hit some clear water out there. And then once you get past this point, it's pretty much impossible unless you've got full waders. I don't know if I can get in this water or not. Might be able to get out a little further. I'll see how solid it is. It's a little mushy. That'll get me a couple more feet. I thought I saw a little fish swim out. This kind of stinks over here, like there's a lot of dead weeds around here. On the surface here, you can see them. Once they get in here, they're gonna die. See how far out we can get. We can get out pretty far, but once we get to that weed line, could be trouble. If we happen to get something, hook up with something, we'll have to get it through those weeds pretty quickly. And we can even kind of ride over the top of this too with our worm. Kind of just run over the top like a snake. Sometimes if something's in these weed bed here like this, you get a hit. Can't cast into those lily pads because you never get out of those. They got those thick stalks on them. If we can hook up with something out here though, get lucky, we get it on the drop. We'll have to make it through these weeds if we do. That's pretty much all the space I have. Not really the conditions you're looking for though. Try to go off to the left there. We just have to hope we get picked up by something. And that kind of, we've got about maybe 20 feet or so before we run into these weed beds. I think I might just had a little fish nibble on my line there in the weeds. Makes you think you have a bite. I mean, if this was a quicker drop off the shoreline and it had this weed line here, then it would be better if you wanted to just run something off across the top. But we don't really have any depth here throughout this. We've only got a couple of feet. Alright, so we're back at the beginning again. And this water here is pretty much all weed cover. So unless we can drop it into one of these holes here and happen to get something, or try working it off the surface. There are minnows here, so I could possibly take a couple shots into this opening here. Here's a frog. I'm able to walk out here a little bit because we got a rocky bottom. And then it starts to get deeper. I'll clean my boots off a little. Yeah, this is really smelly here though, so this is a lot of where the goop collects along the shoreline when these weeds are all grown in like this. Like if I were to drop it in that hole there and hope something sees it, or down this opening here, and hope something hits it before I run into some of these weeds. I'm pretty much just kind of gliding on the surface right now. A lot of times these fish are in fairly close here though, because there's a lot of minnows hang out on the shoreline. Let's drop it in this opening here, and then we'll have to lift it up over the top of these weed beds. We just gotta hope something grabs it while it's in the open. Get a couple seconds there. Not really much to work with here though. Gotta have good aim for doing this kind of thing. We just gotta hope something's in that opening. Unfortunately, we didn't get it over the top quick enough. Got some of those thicker stalks. There's still a little snap over there. I don't know if that was some kind of animal or what. I'm gonna try throwing it way down there. Pretty much where I wanted to hit. And just kind of hope something grabs it. But we're already into those weeds. Not much you can really do here. Except maybe just kind of just float a bobber out there and hope something spots it. And with a not really the ideal setup here. We hear you. It's getting muggy here. Yeah, this isn't really gonna do us any good here.